It's Sunday morning, and every decent man and woman is listening to Test Miles with Nick Miles on FM News 101 KXL. Buckle in.
Sunday morning on FM News 101 KXL. I'm Nick Miles, and you're listening to Portland's Automotive Radio Show. This is Test Miles, locally created and nationally celebrated. We have assembled a team of car freaks at the station to enlighten you with witty banter, useful information, and fun automotive topics. Our team in the studio this week is Sean, our TV producer who loves cars, his cat, nothing else. What have you been up to this week, Sean?
Nothing much, really.
Not just driving around,
Just
being
driving
a
around,
college
being
student.
me. I actually got out of class, so I have a 3-week break now. So
he has no class, is what he's saying.
What's your
I have
GPA?
never had class. Come on.
What's your GPA?
Don't worry about that.
All right. Brad Boyer is
Passing.
here, father of the show. You had a choice between God and us this morning, and we won.
Well, you told me you were God.
I doubt that. But no church for you this week.
No church, but I did my good deed for the week.
You
I
did?
talked to Scott Brown. He let us use the ProMaster cargo van, which is spectacular.
Scott Brown, by the way, is the Western Region Manager for the Chrysler Group.
And Ram.
Well, Chrysler Group.
Chrysler Group, yes. And I delivered about 5,000 T-shirts for the walks for the ALS group, so you know everybody doing the Ice Bucket Challenge.
Right.
So we used that to help deliver 5,000 T-shirts for their walks, and it was it's great to have the right tool for the job, and that is an impressive vehicle. You talked about it a couple weeks ago.
I drove
Amazing.
from Denver. I bought King's New Morning Show Marconi. I drove him all the way from Denver to Portland in that Ram 3500 ProMaster.
I do like how you sit up a little bit. I feel like a truck driver in that.
Yeah, 80 miles an hour on the freeway, and that's loaded full of a morning show guy's gear.
Which
and
means nothing.
And you change lanes at speed. It does wobble a little bit.
Wobble, wobble.
And also on that trip, I drove through the armpit of America. There's plenty of states I don't need to go back and visit again.
But no, I felt great. ALS is an amazing organization. They raised over $100 million with their Ice Bucket Challenge. So it's going to great causes.
I am going to be doing the peanut butter challenge this week. It's similar to the Ice Bucket Challenge, but you cover your face with peanut butter and the dog licks it off for charity. I'm actually serious.
Dead air.
That's the new thing.
I think we should call someone about this.
this is the new way to raise money is the peanut butter challenge, which we're doing to raise money for animal charities. All right, what's on the show this week? We'll be talking to somebody from VW about a brand new vehicle they have coming out. Daniel Shapiro, who is one of their product managers, will be joining us. Brian Socha is here to talk to us about how their service day went at Certified Automotive Repair in Salem, which we talked about a few weeks ago, and Brian's going to tell us how many people showed up, what it was like, whether it worked, and also we're going to get into Project Discovery because the next chapter of that is about to begin, and the guys at Certified Automotive Repair are going to be doing the next modifications to the vehicle. I also will share with you some of the new stuff that happened this week with our Project Discovery. This is where we take a 2002 Land Rover Discovery and make it into a vehicle worthy of luxury transportation and dogs. But first on the docket this morning is something we do every single week, and that is our news quiz, where we talk about what's been going on in the news. I ask the crew questions, and they see how much information, or we all find out how much information they've been reading about what has been happening in automotive news over the last week. So what American CUV is a moving production back to the U.S. from Mexico?
Ding.
Sean.
Cadillac's bringing the SRX back up here and bringing some new jobs into America.
All right, normally we're watching a lot of these factories be built in Mexico to move production there, but in fact Cadillac actually coming back to the United States and starting production. Now I think what's happening is a lot of these automotive guys are realizing that the quality and the cost of doing stuff in America is very, very different. They can actually do it affordably. So good on Cadillac. Who revealed their new flagship crossover this week? Anybody?
I think Sean has that because I have
Ding,
no
ding,
idea.
yeah.
Sure.
Sorry, my mic just went out, or my headphones. Volvo is bringing out the XC90. It first launched in 2002, and this one's actually getting a little bit bigger. It's 22 inches bigger. I've always loved the Volvo XC. It's like my favorite Volvo.
The XC90, yeah.
Yes.
And I will tell you from looking at the pictures of this new one, looks incredible. It's about time they had a new vehicle. I don't think they've had a new vehicle for 5 years. The last one was the 40.
V70 or V whatever it is, 60.
The new engines were the last thing. The new car was 4 years ago.
Yeah,
so
I guess, right.
The first new car they had was 4 years ago. And you can't really count the station wagon. I mean, it is a new vehicle, but it's part of an existing line. So for the V60.
Very true, but it's new to the States because they discontinued wagons here for a while.
What iconic pony car started production this week?
I've got that one since that's like a easy trick question. A pony car. So the new Mustang began its production in Flat Rock. And the very first one went for $300,000 at the Barrett-Jackson auction a bit ago for juvenile diabetes.
I think it's kind of cool that you can auction off the very first vehicle that comes out of production. That's a cool thing to do. I will tell you that on the 20th of September, Sean and I will be heading down to Los Angeles to drive the new Mustang. And Ford have done something interesting with that. They're not letting journalists see this car. I mean, they're not normally when a new car is launched, they invite 200 journalists to go and drive it, to test drive it somewhere. They're not doing that this time.
They're waiting until it comes out?
I think they're only inviting like 40 people to drive this car. And Sean and I will be going to LA to do that.
So that means you're kind of a big shot.
I don't think so. I think I whine enough that they actually listen to me, so which they have done. Who will be investing $233 million for new engines?
Ding, ding.
Sean.
That would also be Cadillac. They're buying new engines. They're working with Ford, too, to bring in the EcoBoost for some of their smaller SUVs and try to get better fuel economy.
Yeah, new engine investment for them. All right, a couple more questions before we go to break. Who announced pricing on their new electric car?
Ding, ding.
Go ahead.
Excited about this. We all drove this at Drive for Revolution. The Volkswagen, the 2015 e-Golf.
Right.
Which will come in at about $35,500, which is a couple, $2,000-$3,000 more than most. That Nissan Leaf and a few others, but it's substantially more
It's
car.
a four-door.
Substantially more car.
Is it four-door?
It is.
Yes.
Okay, it's a four-door. It's a four-seater, whereas the most of the other cars are
the
actually
Leaf and the
two-door.
Fiat are all two doors.
Yeah, and I will tell you, still for me, super sexy, the Fiat 500e. It's still the sexiest car out there. It might not be the best at this and that and the other, but if you need to go electric and you still want to have some panache, some Italian styling, and some, where you can shake it a bit when you get into the car, that's the car to have. Although I like the Golf a lot. I would tell you for practicality reasons, the e-Golf is probably the better choice. Why can't they do a plug-in electric? That's what I want to know.
They don't want to.
Well,
They're Volkswagen.
I would like to see a diesel plug-in hybrid. That would be perfect.
That would be awesome.
Except it would probably be about $80,000 because you'd have to put two engines in it and
for something the size of a Golf.
Also, final question today. China building 400 charging stations for who?
I've got that. Because we can't go a week without talking about Tesla, right? I was not here last week. Did we mention Tesla?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
I can't
tried
remember
to boycott Tesla.
I can't remember what I did yesterday.
Good point. So Tesla's doing that, which I think Tesla's going to end up making more money on their chargers than they are on their cars. That was the conversation when they first came in.
I will tell you that I think that they've got a lot of good ideas, but they're just trying to break the mold. And I'm concerned about some of the political stuff with Tesla, but I will tell you, Consumer Reports absolutely bashed them to hell with their brand new cars. I mean, they're talking about. They were very disappointed in a lot of Tesla stuff, which is disappointing for me because I was hoping the product was a little better than that. But Consumer Reports jumped all over them.
They had a bunch of comebacks to the dealerships,
right? And the fact the dealerships are autonomous, they're not really dealerships, are they? The mall stores are autonomous.
You mean the Mac store, Tesla store?
There is no. It's not like you can go to a Tesla dealer across town because you didn't like the guy you dealt with. You're stuck with Tesla, and that I don't like that. Like if I don't get on with a dealer, I like to be able to go to a different dealer.
Absolutely, and the repair shop is off site as well, so it's not even at the dealership, so to speak.
Well done. I think you guys are probably split even on your points this week. No Oli this week, so it was much easier. You guys it actually impressed me with the amount of stuff that you've been reading this week.
You're easily impressed. Then.
I know, I do. I'm very, very supple and very easy to manipulate. You're listening to Test Miles and FM News 101 KXL. Still to come, we're going to find out about a brand new VW which is hitting the market this fall. It'll be in your showrooms, and we'll get the first impressions from somebody on the inside of VW. Brian Socia here from Certified Automotive Repair. We'll be talking about how their service day went and also how Project Discovery is going to take its next stage of evolution. You're listening to Test Miles. I'm Nick Miles.
Test Miles, like NASCAR, but with one right turn. TestMiles.com.
You're listening to Test Miles on FM News 101. If you're a fan of the show, you can listen to episodes at testmiles.com. Just click in the right-hand upper corner, and it says podcast radio shows right there, and you can listen to old shows. And here's a fun fact for you. We always like to give you facts to impress your friends with. The new car smell that you all love when you get a brand new car, in fact, is a combination of 50 organic volatile compounds. Maybe causing you some kind of injury, but it sure does smell good when you have a brand new car. Now, VW have invested $4 billion in the U.S. and will invest a further $7 billion before 2018. Although their sales are down 2.3% this year, they're in a building year. New models are coming, and this year sees a new Golf that is celebrating 40 years, including a new electric Golf, which they just announced pricing of. We were talking about in the last break. But VW also have a brand new Jetta for 2015. The Jetta has been part of the world car landscape since 1979. And depending on where you live, has been known as the Atlantic, the Fox, the Vento, the Bora, the City Jetta, the Jetta City, the GLI, the Jetta, or the Classico, or even the Sagita, which I'm guessing was probably the Indian name for it. Joining us on the phone is Daniel Shapiro. He is the Jetta product manager at VW and can give us some insight into the 2015 Jetta. Daniel, good morning. Now, the new Jetta got quite a facelift, didn't it?
Correct. We are just launching the new car this month. It should go on sale later this quarter in showrooms.
And up front, you've changed a few things from last year.
Correct. So the car in the front is getting a brand new front end, so front and rear bumpers, new front grille, new fog lights, and a number of other small changes around the car visually.
I really like the idea that you now have a very significant daytime running lights. They look very, they stand outish. You know, Audi, of course, one of the sister brands from VW, was well known for doing their daytime running lights with those the small LEDs. And VW have done something similar, but yours really shine brightly, and the headlights also track when you move the steering wheel, correct?
That's correct. We offer a bi-xenon headlights along with the LED daytime running lights, which we have had present in the car before, but only in the very, very top-of-the-line GLI and hybrid models. And we have made that available to both our mainstream gas and diesel models, beginning with the 2015. The bi-xenon lights give a much stronger light, give you further illumination into the distance. And as you mentioned, they also track to the left and to the right 15 degrees as you move into curves so that you can see ahead of you, so there are no surprises as you go around a turn. Another safety feature that Volkswagen is bringing to the masses.
I really like that idea. You know, we saw that a lot on luxury cars, and it seems like that everyday cars have taken a while to adapt the tracking headlights. I'm glad to see that something as cost-effective as a Jetta has those in now. Now, let's get back to the back of the car. Quite a few new features on the back end. The tail lights have been borrowed from another family member.
Correct. So we have all new tail lights on the 2015 Jetta. If you look at them, they'll actually look very reminiscent of an Audi A4, or even our more premium Volkswagen models like the new Golf electric version, the e-Golf, or even the Golf R, which will be coming later this model year as well. And so then it gives a bit more of a premium feel to the rear end of the car, and along with those taillights comes a new trunk lid with enhanced aerodynamics, so a built-in little aero spoiler to it, and a new rear bumper, and a much wider opening to the trunk.
And you can also
ingress and egress.
You can also get a lot more junk in that trunk, can't you?
Absolutely. The Jetta maintains its class-leading trunk space at 15.5 cubic feet of cargo, which is more than a lot of mid-size sedans have. You can really pack quite a bit in there, whether you're moving, going shopping, taking your golf clubs. It's a huge amount of room, and accentuated by being able to fold down the rear seats and really expand that into the cabin space as well.
And that's a perfect segue into the interior of the car. Unfortunately, VW never really known for their plush interiors until now. Things are changing. The Golf started off with a new interior and won some awards, and that same interior is migrating over.
Correct. So we've upgraded the materials in the interior of the car and made them a little bit more tactile, and also much more premium-oriented, in line with what you're known and expect from a Volkswagen. So, for example, along the dash and even along the doors, the decor trims and even the inserts have added a piano black treatment, so a bit more upscale, more in line with what you would find in really luxury cars. Additionally, we've upgraded the instrument cluster and displays with a tunnel effect, more in line with a much more modern look, which gives a completely new effect to what's in front of the driver and the information displays. And lastly, we've also put a completely new steering wheel into the car, very similar to what you'd find in the new Golf A7, and with a little bit of a sporty feel to it. It has a flat bottom edge to it, similar to what you'd find in an Indy car. So similar to that fun-to-drive component of what you expect in a Volkswagen, it's still a fun-to-drive steering wheel, a much more sporty edge steering wheel. And one thing I'd like to add to the interior, really adding that value or increasing the value of the existing Jetta. Every single Jetta gets that same multifunction steering wheel, which was only available in much higher trims of the Jetta before.
Now, let's talk a little bit about some of the safety features that are on the car. These safety features we haven't really seen on something like the Jetta before, but when backing out of a parking space, if you don't think quickly enough, the vehicle will think for you.
That's correct. One of the big highlights of the new Jetta are these safety features, which it's really the first time that Volkswagen of America has offered them in a volume offer or a real volume sales car. So we have three different safety features. The first one, which you mentioned, is rear traffic alerts. As you back out of a parking spot, we've all been in the situation. There might be a big van or an SUV to either side of you. You really don't have a clear view of what's coming out, or a car or even a bicycle or person walking down the aisle, whizzing past you. You're backing up, and before you know it, somebody catches you off guard. We have radar systems in the back of the car that will look to the left and the right for you. If they detect a moving object that you could collide with, the system will alert you with a very, very annoying visual, audible note. But what's very interesting and what's unique about the Volkswagen system is that if you ignore that warning and you continue to back up, the system still detects that a collision is imminent. It will actively brake the car for you, which a lot of other cars will not do. So really looking at, really quite literally, keeping your back.
Perfect. Daniel, thanks so much for joining us this morning on Test Miles. You, of course, and VW's new Jetta can be seen at their website, starting at $16,000. Don't forget, the diesel does 46 miles a gallon. Love it. Coming up next, Brian Sosha will be here from Certified Automotive Repair. We're talking Project Discovery. You're listening to Test Miles on FM News 101 KXL. I'm Nick Miles.
Favorite us, tweet us, friend us, love us, all at testmiles.com.
Pow! Sunday morning on FM News 101 KXL. This is Test Miles Automotive Radio Show. Testmiles.com. Try to follow us on Facebook. Here's another fun fact for you to digest today. Up to 19 girls can be crammed into a smart car. It was done in Karachi to break the Guinness World Record. And that is one time that you hope your coworkers may have showered before they can come to work.
We should try that challenge. See how many Test Miles crew members we can fit in a
knowing the size of us, 2, maybe 3 if we put Crisco all around the inside of the car. So we need to talk about trusting your service from a car company. And Certified Automotive Repair is one of the car companies that we always go to do repairs on our vehicles. I can say this because not only are they a sponsor of the show, but I'm also one of their customers. You can find them in Salem at 2880 22nd Street Southeast and at 503-549-0533. 549-0533. Brian Sosha is here. Brian, you just had your service day. It wasn't where you had to go spend a day in jail, but it was where you had a bunch of customers come by to help out people who needed work on their car to be done. How did it go?
It went well. We had a full schedule. It went well. Everybody was real appreciative of the service, and everybody left with safer vehicles and a fresh oil change.
So tell me how the program worked. If you couldn't afford to have your car oil changed, or you could have any service item on your car, you guys did it for one day. You did it for one day a year?
One day, we're actually going to try and do it 3 or 4 times a year.
Okay, so people can come down and get it changed. How far afield do you have people coming to Salem from?
There was quite a few from Portland, actually, and we had a handful from Albany and a couple from Salem, I believe.
Now, obviously, you're the good guys. Who paid all the bills for this?
We covered most of it.
And then you had a couple of sponsors that helped you out?
Yeah, we had a couple suppliers that helped us out on a few things, but for the most part, we covered all the parts.
So you serviced all those cars. Did you find any shocking stuff when you opened the hood? Some cars that hadn't been seen since 1946 or something?
We found a couple vehicles that were a little unsafe, but we were able to get those cars back on the road safely and felt good about it. And the customers, like I said, were real appreciative.
And you walked away feeling good, feeling purified in your soul, and they walked away being safe and happy, right?
Absolutely.
And so you're going to do it again?
Like I said, we'll probably do it. We're looking at least 3 or 4 times a year.
Okay.
So.
Well, you've also been involved in our Project Discovery. And when we first got our 2002 Land Rover Discovery, it needed a little work. We had to do some engine work on it, didn't we?
Yeah, that's correct. We found blown head gaskets, so we fixed the heads and got it back so it's drivable again, and we're looking forward to getting our hands on it again.
Excellent. So currently, this is the update on Project Discovery. The 2002 Land Rover Discovery is at Mobile West. Peter at Mobile West has had it for a couple weeks, and he has done an amazing job. I can't wait to show you guys. In fact, Sean, did we get some pictures up for people to see?
Not yet, but I'll get that up here in a few minutes.
So we're going to put some pictures up on testmiles.com so you can see some of the work that's been done on it. But Peter has redone the seats. He's put heated seats in it. He's put Alcantara. He's put leather in the seats. He's also put a Test Miles logo on it and the interior. The next thing he's going to do is we're going to ship the car back to you, Brian, and we're going to do something I don't think anybody has done before. And incidentally, Project Discovery, if you don't know about it, is something that we're doing we want to do a SEMA car next year. And we're ramping up to do it. SEMA car is not something you jump into, never having been involved with before. So we're trying to do it on an older vehicle, testing out. It will be on display at the 2015 Portland Auto Show. And so what's the next stage, Brian? What are we going to do to it next?
Well, I think because as of your request, we're going to be putting a what do you call that?
An air cannon?
An air cannon for tennis balls for dogs. And so we're going to mount up a trailer hitch and fabricate some kind of a landing for a person to stand on so they could fire this air cannon. That's
a great idea. So the idea is, and I've talked to the auto show about it, once we install this air cannon, how do we demonstrate that it works? And I'm wondering if maybe somebody from Portland Police can bring one of their police dogs into the auto show next year. We can fire tennis balls and have the police dog retrieve it across the auto show. That would be kind of a lot of fun next year if we can do that. How much work is going to be involved in that? Because you actually have to, you really are fabricating a giant piece of metal. And then how do we travel with that? It sounds super complicated to me.
We've never done anything like it, so we're just going to have to just wing it. The trailer hitch is a bolt-on, so that'll be the easy part. The rest of it, we'll figure it out.
And then presumably we'll have to either put it inside the vehicle or we'll have to fold it up somehow.
We'll try to figure out a way to hinge it so it'll fold up and it'll be easy to store.
Those people that they do the wheelchair transport at the back with those little things on the trail hitch that sort of fold up at the back, or when they're not using them and that sort of thing.
Right.
So and there's probably some laws that you can't have an extension at the back of the vehicle past a certain depth without having lights on it or those sort of things, right?
Right.
So there's a lot of work in there. And then the idea is that when it's done, now we also have to think about how we're going to power it, because I actually haven't. I saw the pictures of the cannon that you'd sent, and the fun thing about that cannon is we can actually get a version of the cannon that fires T-shirts.
Right.
So we might be able to do like fire Test Miles T-shirts out into the Portland Auto.
There you go.
In fact, we could pick on certain people on the floor of the Portland Auto Show that we want to hit in the head with T-shirts and just fire the cannon across the room. So we can do that, but it looks like it's powered by compressed gas of some kind.
Right. I think it's compressed air.
Compressed air.
Or CO2.
Right. So we'll have to make room for a canister of some sort to travel with that as well.
Yep.
And then we'll be able to do that. Now, so you're going to put a trailer hitch on the vehicle?
Yes.
And then once you put the trailer hitch on the vehicle, we have to get some kind of stand.
Right.
And I also noticed that the cannon itself when we buy it or when we get it from the Canon guys is freestanding. So does that mean we have to build some kind of mount for it?
There'll be some kind of mount that we're going to have to fabricate as well. So it'll be a challenge, but we're up to it.
And I guess you probably the trailer hitch you'll have to have the vehicle for, and then once you've done that, then you can just probably fabricate pretty much anything else.
Yeah, and I got a pretty good fabricator that works at the shop, Louis Miller. He's a pretty good guy.
So Louis
He's
will be
looking
able to
forward to it.
Louis will be able to put it together, and obviously it can't weigh more than 2 tons, because then it'll be like hauling a trailer.
Right.
At the store at Certified Automotive Repair, not only do you do mechanicals, but you also do a certain amount of body work as well, don't you?
Only on our own stuff.
Really?
Yeah, I don't advertise for body work.
So mostly just mechanical stuff.
Yeah, general automotive repair, engine replacements, transmission replacements, tune-ups, anything like that. Yeah.
As we come into winter, as today or this weekend being the sort of the unofficial or the official last days of summer, should people be getting their vehicles ready for winter?
Oh yeah, should be looking at coolant flushes and making sure your antifreeze is good and ready for the wintertime, and wiper blades, that kind of stuff like that.
Wiper blades is the big one.
Yeah,
because I know I go through, especially in the Northwest, when you get a frozen windshield, I'm the worst.
Yeah.
Like I go out into the car, I don't pre-warm it, I don't start the car up, which would probably need a remote start on the car. That would be a good accessory to have. But I go out there and I just run the windshield wipers until they clean it off. That's
Right.
bad, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Is that why I'm buying $60 for new Land Rover windshield wipers every year?
Probably so.
All right, so don't do that. Don't do what I do, by the way. If you come out and it's frosted over your windshield, that's why my windshield wipers end up with pieces of rubber all over the windshield.
Yep.
So windshield wipers, coolants, probably making sure that your windshield washer is full up, even simple stuff like that as well.
Right.
Coming into winter, what about battery and tires as well?
Usually the cold weather will affect the battery. So, when we do oil changes, we do a full-on inspection and we test battery and coolant and all that stuff.
Excellent. Where can we find you?
2880 22nd Street Southeast in Salem.
Or we can go to carsalem.com on the website, or you can give Brian a call on his personal cell phone, which I'll give out at the end of the show. Thanks for coming in, Brian.
Thank you.
Excellent. Test Miles coming back in a little while. We'll be talking a little bit about what we've been driving this week. We have an array of cars we've been test driving, and we'll be talking about those. Brad will be telling us about how he's jumped over to electric, and Sean's been in just a regular hybrid, right?
Yeah, just regular hybrid.
A regular hybrid, but it's an award-winning. I've been in a big, beefy off-road vehicle. You're going to find about that and much more on Test Miles. You're listening to FM News 101 KXL. I'm Nick Miles.
Test Miles, like NASCAR, but with one right turn. TestMiles.com.
Hope you're enjoying your Sunday morning on Test Miles. I'm Nick Miles, and you can go to our Facebook page, also our webpage. Sean has put pictures up of the brand new interior that they have been working on at Mobile West on Project Discovery. You will be impressed when you have a look at this. It's not finished yet, so these cars bits are in parts, but front and rear heated seats, and the Test Miles name embossed on the seats as well. Absolutely fantastic. Another fun fact for you, so you can impress your friends, and I want to see if our crew in the studio knows this. How many parts do you think it takes up to make a new car, guys?
4. Is that low?
That's the lug bolts. On your lug nuts on your wheels. You might need more than
like
that.
50,000.
It's a little bit of an overshot. It's actually 30,000 parts take to make a brand new car. It's quite a lot of parts. And if you don't know how they go together, you can imagine what happens if you have things left over when you put the car back together.
Isn't that the way Chevys used to be back in the day?
Oh,
it's all good. Just it'll run.
How many Chevys have you purchased over the years?
I know, but that's what I'm saying. They run without parts.
I don't think that's true. I mean, maybe the cup holders or those sort of things. Okay, we've been driving a bunch of vehicles this week. What have we been driving? I've been in the Toyota 4Runner this week. It's relatively few drivers who require all-conquering, all-terrain SUVs by vehicle. There's very few vehicles that actually do that. I can think of probably 3, but the 2015 Toyota 4Runner is probably one of the top choices. Outstanding off-road capability is the good parts of the car. Pleasant on-road demeanor, strong V6 engine, and ample cargo space. The bad things, I think, is lack of a V8 or a diesel. I'd like to see a V8 and a diesel in the 4Runner. Options are limited. Towing capacity is not that great. Cramped third row if you get the third row option. A cumbersome setup for the Entune system. 4-liter V6 engine, 270 horsepower, 5-speed transmission, a V6 all-wheel drive, 17 in the city, 22 miles a gallon on the freeway. Competition: Nissan Xterra, Jeep Wrangler. There are 4 trim levels: the SR, the SR5, the SR5 Premium, the Trail, and the Trail Premium. The tech is the Entune system. Really terrible.
I
I have
agree.
to tell you that Toyota, you've done a great job in a lot of things but the Entune system is horrible. And I wish they would they just need to get something like the Uconnect system, which is in the Dodges, which is an amazing
They just
system.
need to go buy it from somebody else at this point.
It's heavy, but it's a fun for driving impressions, and it's very capable. $33,010 is the starting price, and I would give it a 9 out of 10. Sean, what have you been driving?
I had the Lexus CT200 F Sport, and the CT is the luxury version of the Toyota Prius. Also won Best Hybrid of Drive Revolution, which there was some hard competition out there. I really like the styling on this with the F Sport because I had it set up next to a regular CT, and the F Sport makes it look so much more beautiful, excuse me. It's a fun car to drive. You can also put it in sports mode. It's one of the only hybrids out there that I feel handles and drives like an actual sports car, and instead of just kind of a boring little drive. Has a 1.8 liter, 134 horsepower. Gets average around 42 miles per gallon. It has no competition in the luxury market. $32,000 starting price, and the test version I was driving was $41,540, and I give the car about an 8.
So when you look at the front of that, I love the grille on that. It's got that Lexus look to it. Unless, of course, you hit a raccoon.
What's that called? The spoke? No, the
Spindle grill.
spindle grill.
Yeah, I love the look of the new Lexus and their grills. I mean, it looks aggressive. I mean, they're definitely coming out of the boring states and coming into aggressive era.
But don't hit a raccoon, right?
Don't hit a raccoon, yes. Thank you.
He had to take me out and show me where there was hair of the raccoon still embedded in the car.
Just to prove.
No, and then I just felt really bad. I just felt really
For
bad
the
for the
raccoon?
raccoon.
No, I
yeah.
felt bad for the Lexus. It was just
Yeah, of course you did, Sean, because you have no feelings.
that
and no
raccoon
soul.
committed suicide.
All right, Brad, what have you been driving?
I had another eco car. I had that Fiat 500e, which is the winner of Drive Revolutions for the best electric car and Nick's cute car favorite vehicle.
I think
it
for
really is.
definitely for electric, I think it's the cutest electric car out there.
Absolutely. What they've done beautifully are the colors, and I love all the different color options.
The bright
one
orange.
The bright orange is great. So, and the great looking and the range is a little better than the Leaf. It lists it at 110, something like that, but real world is about 80. The real bad on this car is it's small. It's an unusable back seat. So the Leaf is a little bit bigger in the back seat than this. I couldn't even get the kids into the back seat on this, so the battery takes up a lot of room. And it's got 111 horsepower, 147 foot-pounds of torque, and it is really fun to drive around town. It zips. And when you get on it, but once you get onto the freeway, you just watch the mileage descend on your range. So there is some range anxiety still in this thing. And its competition is probably the Leaf and then the VW Golf, and then we're going to be getting into the Soul electric vehicle. So there's a lot in that, but this is my top choice for electric vehicle as well. And its starting price is $32,000. The one I drove was around $34,000. There's 2 models, really. It's the basic 500e and then the E-Sport that has a lot of aesthetic differences to it. 9 out of 10 for me. It's a really fun car.
That's it?
That's it.
So would you buy it?
No.
Just because electric doesn't work for your household?
Electric doesn't. You have to, for my lifestyle, I'd have to have a second car.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really a drive. I mean, the level 1 charging stations, it's 9 to 10 miles in 3 hours is your charging. The level 2 is great. It's 0 to full in 4 hours. So if you're driving from your home to work, if you're driving to a government job or Nike or somewhere where they have charging stations, it's great. Fortunately, I found Chuck's Produce by my house at Vancouver, and they had a pretty good charging system.
But if you bought one, don't you think you'd put a level 2 in your garage or something?
In your garage, but then if your lifestyle, somebody says, hey, let's go to happy hour, let's go here.
Well, you also miss the fact is that to every month that you own the car or you lease the car, you do get a free day's rental at Enterprise Rent-A-Car. So you get 12 free days a year. So if you need to go on that 2-week trip where you go to see grandma in the Midwest, you can go get a minivan. And you can do that. I mean, I like that idea. That's a great option,
I like
right?
the idea, but it's not an electric car is not a vehicle for a fluid lifestyle. It's a very
I don't even know. I don't want to know what a fluid lifestyle even means, Brad.
Where when somebody calls you in the afternoon and says, "Let's go to happy hour. Let's go here. Let's go there," you say, "Well, hang on. I've got to go to Electric Avenue down by Portland State first to charge my car."
Excellent. All right, let's talk about what's going to be on next week's show. We are going to head to the World of Speed Museum in Wilsonville, and we're going to get a walk through there. And we're also going to head to the new Ferrari store, Gran Turismo, Ron Tonkin Gran Turismo Ferrari store and Maserati store in Wilsonville. That's where next week's show will be coming from. You're listening to Test Miles and FM News 101 KXL. We'll be back next week. In the meantime, go delve into all our social media stuff. Check us out on Facebook and on Twitter. And also, go to our website, testmiles.com. I'm Nick Miles. I will see you on the television this week. And if not, here at the same time, 10 a.m. Sunday morning next week. From all the team, thanks, and have a great weekend.
Throw it in neutral and coast in with testmiles.com.